All right, everybody. Make sure this is on. Sure is. Welcome to day 5 of Fishing with Ryan. Let's go ahead and get our life jacket on before we get going. Today's episode is brought to you in part by. Now, today's episode is going to be, we're going to be sponsoring and sponsored by, brought to you in part by. This is for Clarksville ISD. Clarksville ISD, we're going to be raising school supplies, anything they need. Now, I'm going to have a donation link. It may not be here. And the donation link is not for you to give money. This is a Amazon wish list that these teachers from Clarksville ISD have created that they need. And the Amazon wish list, the things from this link that I'm going to give you, is going to allow you to buy those things off of that list, and they will be delivered to the school, the administrative area at the school. So this isn't a donation link where you're giving money. We're not asking for that. We're asking for you to give supplies that the teachers are going to need so that these students and the families and the teachers are not having to bear the cost of that at the beginning of this school year. Now, let me explain why that is important before we even get to start fishing. Why that is of the utmost importance to me. My mother is a teacher, and she's taught for over 30 years here in East Texas. And one of the things that I've watched her do every year, she's come out of pocket to buy school supplies for kids that can't afford to buy. In every school district, no matter where you at, there is a kid that cannot, his parents cannot afford, or his parent, or maybe he doesn't have, or he or she doesn't have parents at all. They can't afford to buy those school supplies at all. And so what happens is the kid can't perform in school. He's worried about what he's not bringing to school. He's worried about, is he going to lose a star, or is he going to have to sit out recess, or is the kid's going to make fun of him, versus, you know, should he just be able to go to school like a normal kid and learn? And if you've never been underfunded or in a poverty situation, to where your parents didn't have a lot, or you didn't have a parent growing up, or you didn't have any parents growing up, and until you understand and know what it's like to go through that, then you'll never know that these questions even come up and that they exist. But I'm telling you, as somebody that grew up in Karnak, Texas, that went to Wascom, that lived on Faison Street, we were poor growing up. We didn't have a lot. My parents took care of their parents, and because of that, we didn't have a lot, and it was good for them and not bad for us, but I got to experience that part of life. And so I'm telling you, these kids up there, if we could help meet just one kid's need, and we can do it for more than just one kid, but if you could help meet the needs of one kid, it also helps meet the needs of that teacher and the school as well, and you help ease the financial burden and the ripples that go out from that financial burden. Let me explain that. If a parent doesn't have to buy school supplies, $300 or $500 worth of school supplies that have to be bought, then that allows them to put, let's say, $300 to $500 worth of food and meat inside of their freezer. That allows them to pay another bill or get up on their light bill or electricity bill or car bill. That allows them to buy more gas that they may be wanting to buy. That allows them to maybe invest in something that they wanted to invest in. Maybe they wanted to put some money inside of their stocks or crypto. Maybe they wanted to invest for their child's future instead. So maybe they take that extra $300 or $500 or however much it is. You people in the comments section tell me how much you spend on your children's back to school supplies, and give me an estimate, okay? But if you ease the burden from parents, one, the parent, their mind eases. Think about you as a parent. If you didn't have to worry about the financial burden of back to school supplies for 1, 2, 3, 4 kids, that's a lot of kids sometimes. I have 2 children. It's a lot of money for back to school every single year, and it's going to continue to be, and we realize that that's just what it is. So what I'm telling you is, what about these parents that have more than one kid, and they know that that cost is $800, $1,000 or more? And what if we could ease that off the parents? What if we could ease that off the child? Because then the child doesn't have to worry about a stressed parent. Then let's go take it to the secondary level. The teacher has how many students in her class? 10 minimum, 15, 20, 25 sometimes, 30 maybe. I'm not sure how some of these schools run it. I know I've been in classes with 15, 18, 20 kids. And so how about, you know, if 2 or 3 of those students don't come in with the supplies that they need? What if at one point all the students don't have a particular supply that they need. Then that teacher, she's either not going to do the lesson, which some schools won't do the lesson and won't do that particular lesson plan that they have planned, and that's, you know, in teaks or whatever you do here in Texas. I know my mom used to call it teaks. I just remember that phrase. But then they have to go out, and what if you got a good teacher? Many of you are good teachers out there, men and women, and you say, you know what, I'm going to do this for my kids anyway. So you take $300 or $500 out of a paycheck that you didn't have to take out anyways. You're not getting paid enough as a teacher to be taking that money out of your paycheck, especially you new teachers that don't have enough time in service and time in grade, however the teachers do it. But you're now having to take money out of your contracts, teachers, and out of your paycheck to meet the students' needs because they couldn't meet it coming from home because their parents couldn't meet it. Why? Ultimately because the poverty level is extremely high, the median income average is extremely low, jobs are not abundant, business is not abundant, money is not abundant, paychecks are not abundant. Like, we need more money, we need more job growth here in East Texas. But right now, these children, they need help. And so just think about it, these teachers that didn't have to come out financially, now they're struggling because they can't go get an extra job. They're already working nights and weekends and grading papers and going to seminars and doing this before school and after school and working all times of the day. They can't do any more. And so they're stressed out now, having to teach and try to teach a stressed out child that's having to deal with stressed out parents because nobody can afford these outrageous prices on these school supplies because they need so many. And they need good kind too, not just the Walmart brand. They need some brand name stuff sometimes. Like, these kids deserve some good stuff. I know this. My dad was telling me stories about him being on the school board today at Caddo Lake ISD, and it got down to them wanting to cut the football program, and he was like, absolutely not. And he talked about walking into that school and seeing that they had nothing as compared to schools like Wascom and Harleton and Marshall and Jefferson, and talking about what some of these smaller underfunded schools have. And he's like, son, if we can't do anything else, we're going to make a difference in Clarksville ISD. And I 100% agree. And I'm asking for your help to do that. So if you have, if you want to give a check, you can write it out to Clarksville ISD. I would rather you not give a check. I'd rather you go to the donation link that we have. And if you don't want to give any money on the donation link or go buy the school supplies that teachers want, here's what I would rather you do. School supplies, I want you to bring them to me and my family so we can deliver them up to Clarksville ISD as well. If you want to take them to Clarksville ISD, you can. I will give you the address to take them to, but you have to take them to a specific location. It's a long ways out of the way, but I understand some of you may be up there. Sorry, I'm going through some waves. Some of you may be up there already, and you may just want to go give them. But if you're down here in Longview, Marshall, Uncertain, Karnak, Wascom, Harleton, Jefferson, Tyler, if you're all in this area and you want to come give them to me personally, I will have an address in the post above, and I would love to meet you, and let's get these school supplies for these kids, and let's get them taken care of. This is not going to be hard to do this. I need some of you here in East Texas. I've already done the same thing for San Augustine with my parents. I need you to reach into your back pocket, East Texas. I'm not asking for money. I'm asking for school supplies for children. We're not doing this for me. We're not doing this for the campaign. We're not doing this for Fishing with Ryan or Ryan Nichols for Congress. We're doing this for Clarksville ISD and the children of Clarksville ISD. I got rolling there. I started going too fast. I know I can't put my camera up when I'm going fast. So we're doing this for the children of Clarksville ISD. And we were just going to do it for elementary school, and the administration asked us, like, hey, we'll give preference to elementary school, but can we also help middle school and high school? And we said absolutely, because obviously there's a need there and they need some help. The other thing that they need, folks, water. Water and the infrastructure of the water. They are the second people within 36 hours that I heard tell me that these are not, low-class, dumb people. And I'm not saying anybody that I talk to is low-class and dumb, but I'm saying these are educated people that I'm talking to. These are administrators at a school or people at a bank. These are people that are smart, educated, and They do this for a living. They help people for a living. And one of the things that they do is they teach and watch over your children. And what they're telling me is that the water infrastructure is not good. It's messed up. They're not getting good water. There's constantly boil notices, and they need water in the school for those children. And so I need all the water, the cases of water for these kids for school year that we can get. So if you can get me cases of water, I'd greatly appreciate every case of water. You can't get me too much water right now. Okay, so cases of water, I need them in the next 12 days. School starts in 12 days. I need them. Help me get them. All right, let's go fishing. Today we're going to talk about, turn around this way. We're going to talk about life. That's why it's so hard to get to. That's why it's hard to get to the subject, to even talk about it. Because I don't just want to talk about me. It's just not about me. It's a whole bunch of people that life is happening to, like you. Life is happening to you right now. And I'm sure it can be pretty overwhelming, right? Sometimes it can feel like this is too much. I don't want to do this no more. I didn't sign up for this. I get it. I hear you. And that's why I'm here. And so that's why I know that this started out a little slow, because I don't like having to talk like this either. I don't like having to talk about these things, but they're real. Hear the hoot owl? Let's hoot at the hoot owl real quick. Then we'll get started. Woo, 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 woo. So look, over the last couple of years, especially, really all my life, but it's not been bad all my life, but my adult life, some of it, some of my childhood has not been always fun, as I'm sure yours hasn't always been fun either. And these are things that we have to talk about. These are the things. This is why I go fishing. This is why we're here. If you're feeling like this, you got to get out there and fishing too, or go and doing something in your life that's going to make you happy. I hadn't been fishing since either yesterday morning or the day before. I think it was the day before, and I'm like, I got to get back out there, because this has been the one thing that has helped me just feel better and get out there and relax and not feel so stressed and so tense. And I was worried that I was going to come out here and, talk on this podcast, and that I would get upset with it, because it would be like, becoming a job, and I don't want it to be a job. Then I got to thinking about it. It's like, no, I enjoy talking about things that I enjoy talking about, which are things that we're talking about now. And I enjoy fishing, and that will never change. It's always been. I don't mind. I love getting on video. I always have. This is not something new, me getting on video. I've been doing this all my life. That's how I built a business. That's how I originally found my wife, was taking pictures and putting it online. Like, this is not something that's different, or that I'm doing different. I got attention from my business from putting videos online. I got attention with Hurricane Search and Rescue by putting videos online. I got attention, after January 6th by putting videos online. Like, this is but I realized you can either do it the right way or you can do it the wrong way. And I'm not saying that I haven't done it all the wrong way. I'm not saying I haven't done it all the right way. I've done some things right and some things wrong. But every time for sure that I do something, I learn a way not to do it, especially when I lose or when I fail at something. It's not failing, just learning a way not to do it. So yeah, life for me, it's about 1,600 other defendants, January 6th defendants right now, is pretty rough. Everybody that I've talked to that was married, besides like one or two people, and I haven't really talked to everybody that was inside of there that was married, so I don't know. But for the most part, anybody that was married inside of the DC Gulag that had a relationship, besides like one or two people that were inside of there, and there was quite a few guys, those relationships have ended. And same thing with mine and my wife's right now, Bonnie. It's been hard to talk about, even hard to deal with, but our relationship, like she said the other day, she's like, Ryan, it's been 4.5 years. Like, we spent 4 years away from each other. It's like been going on 5 years now, 4.5. You know, even with me being home, like there's been like periods of coming home where it's been like hard to adjust back to just being home. And I realize it's not just me, that there's other guys, other January 6th guys that this is happening to as well. That when I was there in DC with them, when they would tell you about their wife or their significant other, they love them, love them. And right now, just like me, it's not able to work because prison and jail changes you. The Department of Justice and the legal system, for 4 years, it'll change a person. And prison especially changes a person. And it's a terrible place, which is another reason I'm running for Congress, is to change that system, the BOP. And you say you can't change it. I got told that I couldn't change it while I was in. Prisoners can't change the system. So I realized I need to be a congressman. Congressmen can change the system, and nobody, there's that woodall right there, nobody should have to endure prison conditions and jail conditions of the likes that we had to endure inside of there. Woo, 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 woo. There's a tour coming by, so I don't want to do anything crazy. I don't want to catch no fish with them coming by because I don't want them to stop in my hole and fish it out. Got a little bird. Well, that was the hole I was going to fish. Life happens. It happens. Sideways to there. See if we can get something off these. Oh, I got one. Look at there. This is dead? No, you're alive. You breathed on it. You breathed on it. I thought it was dead at first. It's not moving. You breathed on my hook. It's really what had happened. You give me your mouth, I'll take it out. It's too small to keep. That's really what it did. It breathed on that thing. Hung. All right, where's my pliers at? This one's gonna need some surgery right here, T. What? All right. Where are my pliers? Somebody done grabbed my pliers out of here. This is crazy. Somebody done grabbed my damn pliers. This thing's really gone. There it is. There it is. All right. Nice little fish. Boop, boop. Going back. Going back. I need something bigger than you caught on a crawdad crankbait. Yes, sir. Now let's make sure that we're still recording. We are. All right. All right. Now, there's bass all along the side of these trees. If I take it through there sideways, it gives me a better shot. I'm gonna wait till this current calms down through here where this boat just came. You're gonna be mad if I catch one through here just like this on this side. The side that I normally fish. Let's do it like this. They're hitting. I can hear them. They're gonna hit this. We're only going to keep anything, we're not going to keep anything today. We're not going to keep anything today. Today is going to be all catch and release. I don't feel like cleaning anything today. You know? Nothing right through here except for that one. I expect more coming through this little opening than this. But that, you know, the motor also just went through as well, which is not their fault. They're doing tours, you know. Not upset with them. I'm just like, dang it. Sometimes you wish you get here during the week, you know, when it's quiet. It's like one of those memes when you're looking around, nobody's around, so you run to your spot, and then as soon as you get there, boom, everybody's there. Like, where'd you all come from? Now that I've gone past this spot, I'll take it through there and drag it down sideways. See if we can get something. There's somebody shooting. Let's get out of here a little bit. Getting cute. That's going to get me hung up. Throwing backhand like that. It's not going to do anything positive for me, I promise you. Don't try it at home. So now we got past that little spot. We'll slowly fish this and we'll keep on talking. So when I was in jail the second time after I did my 22 months, came home for a year, was almost about to go to trial, and that's why I'm turning. Worked out a plea deal with the government, had them on entrapment. I had a very good entrapment case, still do. Probably anywhere else in the United States I would have taken it to trial, anywhere else. Not in DC. We would have lost still in DC. There's no winning in DC. So, pled guilty, and then after I pled guilty and I got ready to go back to prison, I could just see, you know, after I pled guilty to 78 to 97 months, that's really when the marriage started ending, right there, because she knew he's gone for years now. 78 to 97 months, he's only done 22 of those months. Even if he gets on the bottom end of the guidelines, 78, that's what she's thinking. He's still got 78 minus 22 months. You do the math on that, left to go. Even at 85%, that's years. That's years. Folks, the system ruins families by design. And that's what it's meant to do. And so this just didn't happen to me. This happened to a lot of other guys and women that went through the same process. Okay, so I will say this. Bonnie was she's the most loyal, fierce woman that there is. There's some things that happened that tore us apart that I'm not going to speak about on here besides the DOJ. But the DOJ and the government and what it did on January 6th is the catalyst of all of that, because mine and her life was on a great trajectory before January 6th. We were doing marriage counseling, we were doing coaching together, business support, coaching and structuring. Like, there was a lot of stuff we were doing together, parenting, coaching, like self-help and self-improvement. There was a lot of stuff that we were doing together to become a better family and a better husband and wife, and better parents, better business owners, better leaders within our community. And then January 6th happened, which I can prove entrapment. I don't know about everybody else. I have the paperwork to prove entrapment, and we did, which is why the government had to come back and work with us. Because I was like, I'm about to go to trial, and we're gonna have a Mexican standoff here with, you know, everybody standing here pointing at each other, but I'm about to show the cards, and it's not gonna be good for, it'll blow everything wide open, which they're like, fine, if you do that, we're going to give you 10 to 15 or 15 to 18. And with 2 young children, I couldn't risk that. I couldn't risk that at all. So when they said, here, 7 to 8.5, 7 to 8.5, I said, okay, I can live with that. Now, not everybody can live with that. I could, but not everybody can. And it started the process of us parting ways. Now, she stuck with me through prison, through the sentencing. She stuck with me through everything. But when you don't get to see each other, and you only get to talk to each other for some days for 15 minutes a day, some days none, and you don't get to see each other for months on end, and through Christmases and Thanksgivings and holidays and weekends, it tears the relationship apart. Thought I had one. And that's a shame that that's even allowed to happen in the BOP, especially with people that you know are going to come home eventually. You know, like the BOP, they talk about in their handbook and in their standard operating procedures that they're there to help keep the family together and promote together family readiness and family togetherness. But their actions for what they did to help families like mine stay together prove otherwise, because many of the families are still not together. Now, I understand, you know, the consequences of your actions and having to pay for what you did. But if you haul somebody across the nation like they did us, you should give us a way to see our family. It's 2025, 2021 at that point. Let's just say 2021. Give us some family or some video visits. You know, give us video visitations so we can see our children. It had been 2 years since I had seen my children. One of them told me he forgot what I looked like. He asked me if I had died. Forgot what I looked like. 4 years old, 5 years old. How do you explain that to a 4 and 5 year old? They can't understand that. You can't even explain it to them, because they can't begin to understand what you even mean by that. And so it just crushes you. You go back to your cell, you lay on that mat by yourself like we were in solitary confinement, and you just think and you think and you think, and it's just mental torture. And I can only imagine how I get off the phone and I got to think, well, so do my kids, so does my wife. And what are they thinking about? How are they suffering? And that when you start thinking about the suffering that your family's going through, it adds to the pain and the agony that you're going through. Now, I get it. There's victims' families are saying, hey, good that you're dealing with that. Good, because our family or member or, you know, whatever happened to them, they need their justice too. So good for you for feeling that. Well, I would challenge you to find a way in your heart to say, good for anything that makes me feel a certain way. If it makes the children feel a certain way as well, or if it makes the innocent feel a certain way, the innocent child or the innocent mother or the innocent spouse, they didn't choose for their, more than likely, didn't choose for their husband or wife, mom or dad to do what they did. But they still deserve a chance to see mom and dad if they want to see mom and dad. And mom and dad still deserve a chance to see them, maybe even not physically, but if by telephone or by video. Especially when they've done nothing not to deserve that. You just say, well, COVID protocol, you can't do that. Or, sorry, I know they're 2,000 miles away, 1,000 miles away, there's nothing that we can do. It's 2025, folks. There's got to be something we can do. And that's not the only thing that tore apart my family. Look, I get it. My actions, this is where I first and foremost, I take responsibility for me and me alone. My actions and my actions alone caused ultimately my family to be torn apart and for my marriage to end. But there are other things that happened after that from people that took charge of me, took me into their custody and said, we are going to take sole charge of you. We're going to make sure that your family stays together. But that is not what they did. They said that was their mission statement, like the jail and the BOP. They said they wanted to do these things, but they didn't do them. And so that is where I want to hold people responsible and change the system so that way it doesn't, let's say that, yeah, it happens to me. I lose my family. I lose my great marriage and my great business and the great life that I had. But if I can stop that and go create laws and create procedures and SOPs and programs that can prevent this from happening to even one family in the future, if I can help prevent one husband or wife from feeling like I'm feeling right now, then it will all have been worth it to me. And so, and I know that you can do that for more than just one family member and one husband and wife. You can do that for many, many people. And as somebody that went through it myself, I can tell you the exact steps that you need to take in order to make this happen. And I know the people within the BOP that work, including one of my old case managers who I still keep in contact with because she was a great woman and did everything she could to help keep my family together. But even with all of her power as a case worker, even she couldn't get certain things done. And that's not right, because she was the one on the ground level overseeing the inmates. And she wanted to do things but had her hands tied because of the administration and red tape. These are things that we have to fix. I remember watching guys who hadn't seen their wife in over 2 years. 2 years hadn't seen their family in over 2 years. And finally had a family visit scheduled. And that wife drove 4 hours from Dallas down to Beaumont to see her husband just to get there. And all of a sudden the prison decides, oh, we don't have enough staff. And so people called in, they're taking their vacations, and so no family visits today. We're still going to have that staff cookout though. Like, you're talking about dudes having mental breakdowns. Realizing that, hey, that was probably my last chance opportunity to save my marriage. You want to see guys freak out and what we call crash out and do things that a man wouldn't normally ever do? Take away his ability to keep his dignity, his sanity, his family together. Start punishing the innocent. Ooh, I keep on thinking I have a bite. It's just going across brush. You start punishing the innocent for like what some of these guys, and this one gentleman who was later pardoned, truly an innocent man. You start punishing the innocent for what the innocent have done, it becomes a problem. People get very mad, angry, resentful, and it just starts trickling out, just like you see the water out here when this bait hits it. There's a trickle effect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 waves, 11 waves, 12 waves. It just keeps on going. Well, these problems, sometimes they just keep on going. And they're problems even when you don't realize they're problems, because sometimes if you've never been through it, you just don't know the questions to ask, just like we talked about at the beginning of this video. Until I had been through it, I didn't know the questions, the correct questions to even ask. I didn't know those questions and those problems existed. So that's where we have to start, is by talking to the people that know the problems, that know that these problems exist, and then getting a list from them, people that have been through it. And this is where I also realized that part of when I went through this process, I had a realization that, Ron, you say you want to help a lot of people, but how can you truly help people that are hurting in life if you've never been through real hurt and real pain? How can you truly help men that have been broken unless you've been a broken man? And so even now, right now, with going through this separation and divorce that's coming, God's like, I have to break you more, not because I am mad at you, but because I love you and I need you to be strong enough to help these people later on. So I'm not breaking you, I'm making you stronger, more durable. You think I'm breaking you, but as the heavens are above the earth, so are my ways above your ways. I'm not breaking you. You think I'm breaking you, I'm making you stronger. I realize that. It doesn't make it any easier as a human, because we're mere humans. But I understand that is what's going on. So sometimes I get mad and I scream and I yell, and I can come back here and do it because who's listening? Nobody. God. The birds, the hoot owls. That's it. So you can come back here and let it all out. That's what we're doing here with Fishing with Ryan. We're gonna go back and fish this side. I'm gonna actually check this out. They're gonna fly right over. So I'm gonna take this crawdad crankbait off. I'm gonna put this long A back on. I'm gonna turn this phone around. We're gonna go down the other side. I don't know where my I had a nice pair. Either I've got them put up over here. Somebody came over here and did the great snatcheroo. He got my nice pair of side cutters. I don't think somebody would do that. But I don't see my side cutters. All right. Long A. That is. Right there. Sometimes it takes a second. I gotta gather my thoughts and think about what I'm about to do. I was gonna worm fish today, but I was like, no, I'm gonna throw something in there shiny. Might throw a torpedo in there. Here's the end of the night. All right. Fish this point for a second. I love this long day. They've really been hitting in the morning, about 7 to 8. That's what I think I may come out here. I really prefer just like a little bit of overcast, like just a little cloudy. Fish for about 15 more minutes. We'll go right back down this straightaway, see if I can't pull a nice bass out of here or two off of this. We'll get down here, see if I can't pull 1 or 2 out, and then we're gonna be gone for the day. I appreciate you sticking with me. I'll keep on talking here in a second. This is the part of the podcast, or if you needed to go use the restroom, and so I'll have to do that and tell everybody this is the intermission time where we're gonna get turned around. Let me turn this camera around as well. Y'all gonna be pissed if I snatch one on this long, eh? You don't see it. All right. Where are... Okay, boy, I thought I lost my Oakleys. Oh my gosh. I like this better. I like with my right foot. You just gotta know how you like using the boat better. I just like using this side better. So, anyways, I know this was like a more emotionally charged podcast today. If you're not an emotional person, or if this, then maybe today wasn't the one for you to watch. If you're still here, and I'm saying this, I probably shouldn't even be saying it now. It doesn't matter. You're still here. But I didn't think the podcast was going to go like this. I'd really been thinking all day. That's why I didn't do one all day yesterday. I really wanted to, like, what do I want to talk about next? And I wanted to be real, authentic. I just didn't want to sit here and be like, this is how you spin this bait right here, and this is how you tie this up and cast over to this tree. Like, no, you're not here to hear. You're here to hear that, but you're here to talk and hear the issues and what's going on in my life and in other people's lives. And I want to tell you the truth and be honest and transparent with you. My life hasn't been easy the last 4 years. It's been absolutely hard. My marriage, people reach out to me and they're like, oh, Ryan, you got such a great marriage, and things are obviously, I wish I had what you and Bonnie had. And kudos to Bonnie for putting on a really good front a lot of times when she's going through a lot of pain, and has for the last 4 years. She put up with so much harassment online. She put up with harassment at the house from CNN showing up, banging on the doors inside of a gated neighborhood. Shame on you, assholes. And she dealt with people coming to the warehouse. She dealt with the feds messing with her. She put up with a lot. She stuck with me. She put up with a lot of defamation, just things that were untrue online. And she stuck with me, and she tried to make it work, and she waited until I got home. She gave me 6 months, and we tried and we tried and we tried, but she had to wait. At least she did what a good woman would do, and wait till I got home and saw, like, hey, he's different. He's just not the same, and that he was 4 years ago, especially from prison. There was a big change from going back and going to prison. Oh, I thought I had one. And then coming out. Prison ain't the same as jail. Anybody that's been will tell you. And I don't want to get into it on this one. We'll get into prison on a later episode, so you'll want to stay tuned for that. But prison, evil, evil place. And though I advocate for prison reform, I'll tell you right now, there are some people inside of prison that I met that don't deserve to ever get out and see the light of day ever again. And so I'm not just saying like all people in prison are innocent. Absolutely not. There are some people in there that are rightfully serving crimes for terrible crimes that they committed, and they deserve to spend the rest of their lives inside of there, locked up, or the death penalty, whichever one a jury of their peers convicts them of. Man, I've worked this thing before like this, and it got hit. So yeah, we tried to work on things. And, you know, after 4 years, like, it really changes you a lot as a person. And so, like, when you spend 4 years alone, especially like she has, like, there's certain things now as an adult that she's going to do. And there's certain things that me as an adult 4 years later that I'm going to do. And, you know, you get set in your ways after many years, and you're not going to change. And at some point, as an adult, you shouldn't expect that other person to change. You should know, like, hey, they are who they are, I am who I am. And really, this life and the DOJ and the government drove a wedge in between us. And that's what we're having to work through right now. And not work through, trying to figure out how do we move forward, and she go her way in life, and I go my way amicably, where I can still be a good father to my children, because my kids need their father just like they need their mom. And so how do we figure out a way to where we do this where everybody wins? And I see my buddy Cash Kelly. I almost sent him a message, and he'll probably see this. I'll tag him in it. And I see that, like, he goes out places with his wife and then his ex-wife, and he gets along with his ex-wife, and I'm just like, I don't understand. I wish, like, Cash, kudos to you. I almost sent you a message with that picture, and I'll actually send it to you because I've got it saved as a screenshot. But I was going to be like, how do you do this, Cash? You know, because to me it was like, I either am 100% with her, or I don't even want to talk to her at all. And you know, there's that part of me that's like, I'm so in love with her, and really just wish this all would end and I could just, you know, go back home. And there's part of me that's like, no, like, this is over, this is it. And I even want to move forward and be done with it. So, like, I'm just like caught in between, you know, not wanting it to happen and then wanting it to happen. I'm just in this weird place in life, and I realize that I'm not the only one that's feeling that way. I go talk to some of the other guys that I've been in jail with and in prison with for January 6th, other January 6th defendants, because we were all, a lot of us in the same pod over in DC. We dealt with the same things. We talked to each other. We had the same beliefs, thought the same way. And so it was easy to go talk to somebody that was in the same position as you. And you didn't always talk to everybody about your problems, because everybody had problems. I don't want to hear about, you know, everybody else's problems when I got problems of my own, but you would find some good friends in there, like me and Cash had each other, and we would work with each other through problems. Sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes he dealt with his stuff and I dealt with my stuff, but when he was having a really tough day, I could see it all over his face. And when I was having a really tough day, he could see it from me. It was all over my face. You can't, when you live with somebody like we did, like, we were with each other 24/7. I don't think many of you realize, like, we lived with each other. It's like, if you've seen Big Brother, that's how it was inside of a pod like that. You're with each other every day. Everybody's seeing everything. Everybody gets to know everybody. And that's why even now, years later, you see the Jan Sixers online. Even though we haven't seen each other in years, every time we see each other, it's just like a family reunion, because we lived with each other for years. And so that's part of the other thing is my family. Bonnie wants to move past January 6th and wants this all to be done. And really, like, it's a part of my life now. I spent years in prison and in jail because of this. There was many injustices done. My constitutional rights were violated. I've watched guys that were just mistreated and tortured and abused and go in with stage 2 cancer, come out with stage 4, denied water, had my water turned off, chemically sprayed and pepper sprayed by officers and assaulted by them just to be left in the cell to just burn. These things aren't right. Having your evidence stolen by the jails, by the DOC, by the prosecution in DC because of what you know. Having the FBI raid the cell block because you're putting out information that shows that they're lying to the American public and to Congress. I've seen some crazy stuff inside of there, and so because of that, it's ingrained in my mind. You can't not see this stuff. You can't not replay it in your head, and you can't not want to do something about it. And I do want to do something about it, so I am going to do something about it. And so that's part of the talk that her and I had, and it was when she said it, she's like, this is who you are. You're not going to change. Not that I want you to change. There's nothing, but this is who you are now. And that's not what I'm looking for. And so I have to respect that and say, okay, who I am now and what life has molded me into now and what I want to do doesn't align with what she wants. And that's okay. That's okay. You can't force somebody to stay with you or to love you. It's like Jim Carrey in that movie. What's that movie? Bruce Almighty, where he's like, love me, and you can't do that. The guy was like, nah, you can't make somebody love you. You can't change their free will. And so I don't even want to argue. I don't argue with somebody like that. Okay, I understand. And though it hurt to hear that, I understand and accept it. And I realize I can either do two things, and this is where I'm talking to the rest of you Jan Sixers, and I'm going to close through here by fishing with this and say this. I can go two ways in life right now. I can go this direction, and I can just say screw it and get on drugs and get strung out and be running down the roads 100 miles an hour and be breaking all sorts of laws and getting into fights and getting drunk and doing stupid things. Or I can say, you know what? I don't like what happened to me and my family. I don't like what happened to these other guys' families. I don't like what's happening to other people's families that are non-Jan Sixers either. And so I'm going to go this direction. I'm going to be a congressman. I'm going to rewrite laws. And I'm going to make sure that what happened to me and other people never happens to anybody else again. That's what I'm going to do. And you can do that as well. Anybody can make that choice. But you have to make that choice. And so for the last couple of months, I didn't know for sure which direction I wanted to go. Like I've had issues last couple of months, just like every Jan Sixer getting out has had issues. We didn't have a halfway house to go to. We just got taken out, pardoned, and with no help and sent to the street, straight from prison. You usually have a support system and a parole officer, supervisor, or somebody that looks over you and says, hey, don't do this, don't do that, you're going to get in trouble again. Many of us don't have that. And not saying that we need that, but if you've never been to prison, you'll never understand the people that are inside of there. But the people inside, even the ones working, aren't always good people. And so you get what's called institutionalized. And I don't like saying the word, I don't like being institutionalized, but everybody that goes to prison that does any amount of time in prison becomes institutionalized and has things happen to them to where they have to deprogram and learn how to be a civilian again. Same thing, what happens to you in the military. You have to go through transition readiness classes, we call them TRS in the military, because you have to learn how to be a civilian again. You're no longer a military member. Well, here we're no longer inmates. We have to learn how to be civilians. I've been both. I've been a military member. I've been an inmate. I've been civilian, so I've been all three. And I'm telling you right now, that mother... sorry, every time I hear that, I see that in my head. And so I've been all three. And I know how to go now in between each one. Not that I would ever be a military member again. I'm not. I have no desire to do that. I've done that. Got the honorable discharge for it. But I'm not looking to be an inmate again either. Whew, let me go ahead and get that out there too. That was a Lord willing, God willing, one and done thing. Trying to get me one off this point. And I'm gonna go. I might not fish this for another couple of days. I'm gonna go find somewhere else to fish after this. They're not in here, they're moving around. I gotta go find them. They're not even slapping in here right now, but it is hot. Water's not moving a whole lot. Let's go up there. I was in a gentleman's office the other day. I'm not going to say his name until he tells me I can eventually. Very respected individual within the community, Marshall, and he was saying, he said, Ryan, I understand why you're doing it, why you're running, because running for office, especially for U.S. Congress, or any office for that matter, whether you're running for school board or running for the president, it forces you to become the highest version of yourself, the best version of yourself that you can. And he's the first person that said that to me that fully understood that. And that's really what I have been trying to say this entire time to people, is that I'm also doing this for that reason. Being a congressman or running for Congress forces me to become a better version of myself. It forces me to clean up my language. It forces me to get back out there in the public and shake hands and talk to people, because really, you ask my dad, I'm spending 4 years in a cell in prison, that'll make you a reclusive person. And so my chief of staff, my dad, and other members of my team, they are forcing me to get out right now and meet people and talk to people like we did up in Clarksville, and talking to students and talking to the staff and the faculty. And I'm loving it. But it's things that you've got to get back out there and learn how to do again. And you may not realize this, but thankfully I do have some people in my support system that are helping me through that process and helping me to see that that's exactly what I need right now. And this is how to do it. And so I say that to say my brother went to prison and done some prison time as well. And my dad had to help my brother transition back in from prison as well. And so a lot of times he'll see that the same things that I'm dealing with are also the same things that my brother dealt with as well. And so Dad is like a subject matter expert on dealing with people, at least his sons, that get out of prison that aren't understood by society because they don't understand society, because they've been locked away and their society has been completely different, which it was. But to getting back in and understanding society so that way we can become productive members of society again. And that's really what I want. That's why I'm doing this content that I'm doing. This is my job now. I'm coming out and talking, I'm fishing, and maybe one day I'll move forward from this and this won't be my job anymore. But for right now, this is my job. So I'm going to end it here. That has been day 5 of Fishing with Ryan. I thank y'all for listening. Look, no matter what you're going through, no matter what, I'm going to show y'all this. I haven't shown people before. While in prison, I got some prison tattoos. One of them, right here, God is greater than the ups and downs. Bonnie bought that prison tattoo from me, and while I was inside. And she actually suggested it, and every time I look at it in the mirror, like, it really helps me, like, sometimes, because I have learned how to have a relationship with God and just look at him and talk to him, and because he's all around, he's everything, he encompasses everything. And normally I would get upset with God. I'm like, why are you allowing this to happen? I remember that God is greater than the ups and the downs. He's greater than everything. His ways are higher than ours, and we can't understand that. So I would challenge you, if you're going through a tough time right now, just pray, breathe, scream, yell, go fishing, reach out to me, reach out to a friend, reach out to your mom, reach out to your dad, reach out to your spouse, your significant other, your ex, and try something today. Say, I'm sorry. Say, I'm sorry. And see what happens. Y'all have a great day.